Hey kids, it's that time. Yeah, you've waited. It's that time for Love to Hate. I'm Philip Fullman.
And I am Brandon Luna.
Hey Brandon.
What's up, Phil?
How you doing, man?
Good.
Feel like I haven't seen you since the last time we did this.
Right. I don't think you have, actually. Wait, no, we did. We had Pokey.
That's right, we did.
Yeah. Is it Pokey or is it Poke? Or
I think it's Poke. I call it Pokey just to be obnoxious.
Poke.
Just poke.
Yeah.
Poke.
Right.
The thing I love about it is it's like cheap sushi.
Mm-hmm.
It's sushi meets Chipotle.
Right.
And so I can get a giant bowl of food for $10.
Exactly.
And I like to think, now that I've got the total gym, that it's healthier because I'm getting protein with the fish,
Right.
a little bit of carbs with the rice, and probably the worst thing in there is the spicy mayo.
Right.
But other than that, I feel like it's healthy.
Yeah, I think it's healthy-ish. I mean, it would fit in with. It won't fit in with any of the fad diets. I'll tell you that, because if you're talking about,
because it's got carbs.
Because all the you're talking about all the rice. They would have to substitute vegetables for rice, which I think you can do at Chipotle.
Well, and I know at the Poke Bowl, whatever, you can do lettuce instead of rice.
Oh well, there you go. Then it becomes a lot healthier, I think.
Yeah, because what is Paul Costo on? The keto?
Yeah, the keto thing.
Yeah,
keto
so
diet,
he's done it with lettuce instead of
right.
Instead of rice. I don't know. I don't know. Is keto just another Well,
it's a variation.
Is Atkins the ones where you
Atkins,
just eat fat?
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So Atkins. I mean, the difference between like keto and Atkins, I think, and don't quote me on this because I'm just barely reading about it now.
Right.
Atkins has a ketosis period of basically 20 pounds.
Okay.
So you stay in it until you drop 20 pounds or a couple of weeks, basically. And then you start adding the right type of carbs so that your body uses healthy carbs while you work out. Of course, all these, go based on that you're actually eating right, but you're also working out. So, and then the ketosis diet basically is you're in ketosis like for as long as you want to be in ketosis. So you're not having any carbs.
Because I remember
carbs for a long time.
Whenever I first heard of Atkins, it was just everybody was excited because they're like, I can just eat like 14 steaks,
right? And
I'll lose weight because I'm not eating potatoes,
right? And
I can eat all the crap that they want to eat because there's no carbs, but they're still eating all this fat. And my thought was, okay, this can't be healthy,
right?
That can't be good for you because what are you doing to, I don't know, your cholesterol levels and anything else. But I don't know, because everybody has a different opinion and swears that their diet is the one that's going to work.
Right. And everybody has a different metabolism, and you're not going to know until you go to the doctor and actually get tested blood work-wise to find out if it's going to affect you that way, if it's not going to affect you that way. So it is very individual.
Well, and that would be my thing, is metabolism plays such a big part of it.
Is this Brian McGee? Well, you're on our show called Love to Hate.
Ladies and gentlemen, our first call-in, it's Mr. Brian McGee.
We wanted to ask you about the keto diet, since you are the keto guy that we know. So introduce yourself. Guy. Aren't you on the ketosis diet thing?
Oh, keto. I thought you said Cheeto.
Yeah, no, well, Cheeto diet's what I'm on. Yeah.
So what is the diet you're on, and how does it work?
Well, it's I guess it's ketosis, keto, whatever. There's got several different names, I guess. But it's basically an all protein diet, no sugar. They tell you to limit your carbs to 50 grams or less. I'm trying to do it with no carbs whatsoever. And so it's a lot of protein. No breads, no starches, no starchy vegetables, things like that.
Doesn't sound too bad. I mean, I think that sounds kind of fun.
It's not that bad, and I'm going to regret saying this, but you do eat a lot of salads. But steak salad.
Right, of course.
And like blue cheese has no carbs, no sugar. If you're a coffee guy and you put cream in your coffee, use heavy whipping cream because there's no sugar, no carbs, and heavy whipping cream.
Yeah. I don't know any real American who uses cream in their coffee.
Yeah, you actually use actual whipped cream from the can as well, because that's zero carbs as well. Yeah.
Right. And it's about eating healthy fats and making your body burn fat as fuel. And you're eating a lot of protein and healthy fats. Like avocados, very good, very highly recommended, things like that.
So they have bacon on there, because I remember being on the Atkins diet, and it was very, high fat centric as well. but they were all about like, oh man, you bacon and butter all you want and all this stuff, and that can't be good for your metabolism, for your body, to have that much grease going through you. Is that basically just the grease that slides out the poo, or what is that about?
Yeah, you can, butter, bacon is gluten free, so bacon is on the eggs. You can eat a lot of eggs. You just, again, when it comes to, if you're frying bacon, you just have to be conscious of your portion control, because it is greasy. But you definitely eat. I eat eggs and bacon almost every morning now.
So let me ask you a question, because I was on the Atkins diet years and years ago, and I remember that there was about 3 weeks to a month where you just felt awful because you're getting off the carbs and you're really low, like 20 grams of carbs a day or something like that. So you have no energy, you have headaches. Is that? I mean, this sounds like eventually with Atkins you added that stuff in and that went away. If you're doing just like zero carbs, it sounds like you'd be like miserable all the time. Does it actually get where you can not have those feelings?
Yeah, so they tell you when you start the diet, you go into what they call a ketosis sickness, where you feel that drowsiness and no energy, and it lasts for a couple of days as your body adjusts to it. And the keto thing is not meant to be a full-time thing. You do it for a couple of months, and then you slowly reintroduce your carbs back in, but at a very low rate. And then maybe you go back on it for another month, and then you just portion control and maintain your carbs to 50 grams or less a day. And that way, once you lose your weight, you maintain it, and you don't add it back unless, you jump off and start eating baked potatoes 3 times a day or something like that. But if you slowly reintroduce it, your body slowly adjusts back to it, then you maintain the weight loss that you've achieved, and you don't start packing anything back on again.
Have you found that it's changed what type of food you like? Maybe certain things you ate prior, now you try to eat them again, you just don't feel right after eating them, or you don't enjoy them like you did?
No. Well, to be honest, I've been doing this for a little over a month. I've lost 15 pounds, and kind of surprised myself. I've not cheated, so I haven't had any starches. I haven't had any desserts. I haven't done anything like that. But I think if you start to reintroduce, my first cheat day is going to be Thanksgiving.
Yeah, of
so
course.
I'm sure I'll have mashed potatoes and things like that. And again, it'll be very small portions, so I don't think there's going to be any ill side effects because of that.
All right.
That works.
So what are you going to be going to the doctor to get blood work done at some point to make sure you're not killing yourself with this thing, or is that part of it, or no?
Yeah. So I go in. What I did was my last appointment with my doctor. I got my A1C checked and all that, and then what I'm going to do is right before Thanksgiving, I'm going to go back, get the final, get a number of how much I've actually lost, and see where my A1C has come down. And the one, I've always been blessed with low cholesterol, no matter how bad my diet's been, so I'm not worried about that. But it's my A1C that I'm trying to get down.
You probably ought to get like an enema then too, just to get everything out, so you got all kinds of room for Thanksgiving.
Right. Yeah, that's basically what I'm doing.
Right.
But snack food stuff. You eat a lot of pecans, almonds, pistachio nuts. So nuts are very healthy for you.
So this has affected what you buy at Buc-ee's, right?
Actually, you know what? So I still buy the meat cup. I just don't eat the pretzels.
Oh, there you go.
Meat and cheese, because you can eat cheese, and I just throw the pretzels away.
There you go.
So no, it has not affected what I buy at Buc-ee's.
Well, you're not buying the banana pudding anymore, I'll tell you that.
Well, no, that's Brad Fisher. I'm not a fan of banana pudding.
Oh, you're not a banana pudding guy?
Oh, Brad will cut a bitch for some banana pudding.
Oh, I love the banana pudding there. Yeah. That's hard for me to give up, man. I love that stuff.
The only thing I've never had much of a sweet tooth, but when it does hit me, I want all the cheesecakes and all the key lime pies. So I keep a can of heavy whipping cream in my refrigerator, and I take a shot of that every once in a while. That tends to get me through.
I heard you can freeze Cool Whip, and it's like eating ice cream. I think Todd Vance was the one that told me that. He just eats that as ice cream.
Yeah, there's all kinds of keto hacks you can do stuff. Somebody was telling me about using coconut oil and cocoa and something else to make these carb-free, sugar-free cakes and all kinds of stuff. So I haven't gotten that far yet, but I'm going to start looking into that.
I think we can all agree that being a middle-aged male just sucks.
It does.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
I mean, I can't think of a 20-year-old that's on this friggin' diet. It's always
no.
It's all the 30s and 40-year-olds.
And if there is one, they need to be punched in the throat.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Enjoy it while you can, because you got a shelf life.
Right. You definitely do. Yeah.
Right.
So, hey, thanks for supporting the show. I always see the comments on YouTube and all, and thanks for being who you are. We love you, man. For those that don't know, this is Brian McGee. He's the sales rep for Crown Head Cigars.
There you go.
And tell your co-host to cheer up, man. Life is much better than what it is. He's pretty grumpy.
What? I'm not grumpy, McGee. What the hell are you talking about? Jesus.
A lot of hatred last week. A lot of hatred.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, fuck. Being on a cruise with this guy, that'd be a blast. With him and his keto diet, that's what I want.
The guy who takes all the freaking protein off the plate right before you get to it.
All of a sudden, it's like I got nothing at the buffet.
Right.
Let's enter the karaoke contest.
Calm down.
All right, man.
Love
Have a
you,
good
buddy.
rest of the day, man. Later.
All right, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right, bye. Our first call in. Hopefully you can hear it.
Yeah, it's going to be an experiment in radio.
I'll just bump up
my
my side. It'll be fine. Yeah.
There you go. For those of you who don't know, that was one of the most meta conversations we've had on this show. So, but shop listeners will know what we're talking about.
Yeah, totally.
So, and let me just say, as a thing for Brian McGee, in spite of what you read everywhere, is not a vegan.
No, not at all.
He's not. He's trying to eat healthy, but not a vegan. Very much a carnivore. I think he would pretty much just shoot some and go start gnawing on it.
Right.
Yeah, big red meat guy. So more so than me, because with my blood iron, I have to really watch the amount of red meat I eat. So more chicken and turkey for me, which isn't a bad thing.
And apparently undercooks when he barbecues or when he grills. Apparently, I heard a story. I don't know.
It's possible. I don't know about his cooking.
Brian McGee
skills.
undercooks his meat.
There you go. I can't speak to that because I've never been invited to his house, though I understand he lives just blocks from me. But
wow,
been to your house several times.
Yeah,
but lovely house too. Well, I mean, so it's obviously there's some sanity to it, and I think what he's doing is smart because he's going to the doctor.
Right, he's doing it the right way.
Yeah. Because I know people who are just, well, I want to be healthy, so I'm a vegan. I'm a vegetarian.
Right.
And they don't look at, well, wait, are you getting protein? Are you getting nutrients? Are you getting vitamins? And you're actually less healthy because your body's not getting anything you need.
Right.
But you're just not eating meat. And that's not smart either.
Yeah, I mean, we're animals that are meant to, we have these teeth for a reason. We're meant to eat meat.
Well, I don't know if you watched that vegan documentary on, was it Netflix? That everybody
they got
was
something about what?
Oh, it's such horseshit.
Tell me about it.
You can tell that humans are meant to be
omnivores.
Yeah, we're not supposed to eat meat because our jaws do not unhinge. And if you look at all the animals in the wild who eat meat, who are carnivores, their jaws unhinge, and our jaws are shaped more like those who are plant eaters. I'm like, what? It's like my molars can still do a job on a steak. So,
yeah, totally.
Look, they don't have forks and knives. The lion can just rip and go.
Right.
I need a fork and knife, but I can still eat meat.
Right.
I don't know. And I get it. If you love animals and find them cute and cuddly, you don't want to eat them. I understand that. But to sit here and say this is the only way to do it, it's got to just have common sense. It's like with anything. To sit there and say, you can't do that. Don't drink milk. Because, humans are not, we're the only animal that continues to drink milk. It's sick. Like, I don't know, man. What am I supposed to have with warm chocolate chip cookies if not milk?
Right.
Just the way it is.
I don't think, and it might change for animals. If you give a wolf a glass of milk with some cookies, he might be like, yeah, that's the only way I'm going to eat that now. You never know.
That's true. And they might just be groovier animals. Like,
right.
Man, I have been so angry.
Right.
I just needed some warm chocolate chip cookies.
These cookies existed. This is
great.
Fantastic.
Right. They make Oreos? These are wonderful.
Yep.
Snickerdoodles.
What is that? Gotta give me some of that. I never knew what a snickerdoodle was until just recently because I've just never been that guy. And,
I'm not much of a sweet tooth guy, but when I do get a sweet tooth, I definitely indulge it. But mostly I don't really. And when I do, I want pie.
Okay, yeah, I'm a pie guy too.
Yeah,
so
pie over cake.
Everybody in my house is cake. I'm pie. I'm the only
good man.
I love pie. Cherry pie, great. Apple pie, lemon meringue.
Blueberry, where
coconut,
are you on blueberry?
Yeah, whatever. What?
Blueberry?
Oh, I love blueberry.
Yeah,
blueberry's great.
I'm big on coconut cream.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not a big coconut guy. Like that's the one time I can eat coconut is coconut cream pie.
That's a good mixture there. Mm-hmm. And you got to get the meringue right.
Right.
You don't want 4 inches of meringue and then an inch of pie because then you're just getting screwed. It's impressive looking, but
yeah, you want more,
but not the same. So have you ever tried? I won't say you haven't tried a diet, but have you tried one of these?
I did, yeah. I did Atkins. My wife and I did Atkins for about 2 years, I think, and I lost about 85 pounds on that, 65 to 85, somewhere in there. I didn't get to my goal weight, which was under. I got to 200. I didn't get really under it.
I think at our age, it's really hard to drop below 200.
It is.
You're starving yourself.
It is, yeah, and you got to work out and everything else that goes along.
Well,
with
in my BMI, when I look at that, it says I should weigh 190. Mm-hmm. The last time I weighed 190, I was 27, and people thought I was about to die.
Right.
They were just like, that's no.
Yeah.
So 210 is about as thin as I can go before people want to commit me.
185 is right for me. 185, I look a little bulky, so I look good. I don't look too skinny. Below 185, if I get into the 155 range, I'm just stick. It's just ridiculous.
It becomes unhealthy.
Your head looks huge. It's just I've got a big head.
Tear down a toothpick.
Right. Yeah. It's not good for anybody.
I think the only time I ever actually did do a diet, and it was based on a book. That I didn't seek the book out, but I found it at my brother's house.
Dianetics?
It was.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you heard the good word of L. Ron Hubbard? I don't even know how they recruit.
It was that commercial.
I need to watch that
commercial
that
in the 70s. That commercial was on all the time in the 70s and 80s. It was just on everything.
I need to watch that episode of South Park again. Hey, are you ever sad? Do you ever have feelings you don't like? You should try Dianetics or Scientology. Mm-hmm. But what I tried, other than the Scientology, which didn't work, it was a carb diet.
Okay.
And I cut out fats as much as I could. Mm-hmm. Did carbs, but I was running at the time.
Right.
I was a lot younger.
It was the opposite of what they're doing now.
Yeah, but I think it was I burned the carbs, but I lost so much weight. And I can't exercise like that now. I can't run like that now.
Right. I run like that. I hurt myself, yeah.
Yeah, you just knees and stuff aren't meant for it.
Right.
But by eliminating the fat, it just made more sense to me that, okay, I'm eliminating fat. That's good. And it's the opposite of what they say because they're like, well, no, your body burns fat first, or so you should load the fat so you burn that.
Right.
But to me, still in my head, it seems unhealthy. But the key, you gotta move.
Right. That's the key that a lot of people just, and that's the thing, the danger of diets. Like I think dieting's a good thing because it gets people to realize that, oh, maybe there's a way that I can lose this weight, and it gets people interested in exercise and diet and eating right. But I think there's also a danger of people being misinformed and jumping on something that's a fad and not spending the time to do the research, and then they wind up hurting them. Their liver goes out or whatever because they're just taking in too much fat, So
well, and I think,
like Brian doing it the right way, with going to the doctor, that's paramount, and I don't think enough people do that.
And I think the majority of people, they want the magic bullet, and they want to lose weight and never move.
Right.
They want to keep a sedentary life, never exercise, and still drop weight. So they do. They buy the pills that are like, hey, take this, and while you sleep, you'll lose, 10 pounds and crap it out in the morning. And that's just not how it works. And one of the hardest things to realize is when you want your body to feel good, you have to move it.
Right.
And it seems odd. Well, my body aches. It hurts. It's like, that's because it has to move. It's a machine. It's like if your car sits in the driveway, it's just going to rust and not move. You're not making the car better and not putting wear on it. It needs a certain amount of that.
Right.
And we're the same way. You got to keep the joints moving. Otherwise, you're going to have problems. And that's what nobody wants to do. They'll take any diet as long as they don't have to move.
Yeah, and I think the big part of that is the reason we're in the place we are now is that we have very sedentary lives. I mean, most of us have jobs where you sit at a desk for 8 hours. You get up in the morning, you're basically moving from your house to the car to the office, and then from the office to the car to your house, and then you're sitting down and watching TV. If that's all you're doing and you're not working out, then yeah, your body's going to break down. It's not going to do what it's supposed to do.
I remember seeing pictures of my dad out on vacations and stuff. Mm-hmm. He was probably, I don't know, he was probably in his 20s at the time. And I swore it was like, what do you do? Work out? What do you do? And he was like, I had a job.
Right.
Just this indignant look of like, son, I worked for a living. It's like, how did you look like that? He goes, I worked. And you find out what he ate and what he would have because the days when you could come home for lunch. Huge portions. Mm-hmm. I mean, gigantic portions, but it was an actual chicken. It was fresh corn, fresh green beans, a loaf of bread that had just been baked, not Wonder Bread from the store, and a lot of water because it was just fuel. Right. It was not, hey, I'm going to sit here and enjoy this. It was, no, I need this for energy. He's ravenous. He goes out, fuels the muscles, and he works it off.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, we don't do that now. There's very few people who actually do that.
Right.
Where they're in that type of position. And we don't see food as fuel.
Right.
We see it as, I don't know, what do we see it as?
It's pleasure, man. I mean, food is about pleasure. It's all about eating, something that tastes good. And usually the stuff that tastes really good has got a shit ton of butter and salt in it. So, that's what it is.
Well, that's true.
But yeah, I mean, we don't have those jobs anymore. Even the construction guys now are fat because, they stand there and hold a flag and there's all these new machines that do all the work for you. So they're getting chunky too. So
yeah, that's true. You see a lot of heavier construction guys and whatnot. The guys on roofs, though, they're small.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're up there. They're also probably mowing 12 yards a day. So yeah, I mean, those guys are they're doing it. They're actually out there doing that
machine.
work.
Yeah, they're pushing the machine and they're not.
Yeah.
So it says something about our lifestyle.
It does.
And it's funny because we've always, I say always, I make it such an absolute statement. But, when people were working the field, it was like, man, I wish I didn't have to work the field. I wish there was a way to make it easier. We keep making things easier on ourselves, but then we've taken that away from ourselves where we're not moving. It's like, no, that's great that you don't have to do it, but you need to supplement because this was providing you something that you needed. It was making your blood pump. And it was making you sweat, and it was making the muscles move. So that's great. You don't have to go out and toil anymore. But what are you going to do to substitute it?
Right.
Other than become a gym rat.
Yeah, exactly.
And those people can be equally as obnoxious.
True. Totally. Yeah. Totally. Yeah. Because they push it in your face all the time too. Those are the guys that are like, oh, let me tell you about this workout, bro. And it's great. You got to do it with me. And blah.
The guy walking around, he looks like he's lost 2 bales of hay from under his arms. It's like, why can't you put your arms in? You don't have to walk like that.
Right.
I had a guy walk up in the gym, and he was like, hey, man, bench 350. What do you do? And I'm like, look, I don't want to brag, but I read. And then I ran.
Right.
Because I could outrun him because he skipped leg day.
There you go.
There's always that guy.
Yeah, there is always that guy.
What is that? Again, turd on a toothpick.
Right.
It's like his upper body can crush you, but his little tiny legs.
Like a cartoon,
You would think that somebody would have a sense of proportion.
Yeah, you would think.
But
the mirrors, I guess, only go to here, so they don't have full length mirrors.
So they need the full length so they can look at their.
Holy shit! I need to do legs more.
That to me is obnoxious because they all tell you, no, man, I'm looking to see if I got it in the right spot. I want to see. Make sure I hit the right muscle. It's like, no, you're having a homoerotic moment with yourself is what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's nothing about that's for your edification. It's just you want to pose down in the mirror and have other people check you out.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's all that is. Mm-hmm. But, and some of those guys may not even be healthy because look at the shit they take.
Right. Yeah.
And not even just
a lot of supplements,
just the steroid, but all the shit from GNC.
Right.
That who knows what's in it.
This blocks that, and this blocks this, and then you're giving yourself cancer. You don't even know it. Yeah.
Well, and you know as well as I do the fun of government regulation.
Right.
But how has the government never gone into a GNC? Is it because they put on there these statements have not been verified by the FDA? That they can get away with it?
It's the loophole, I guess, yeah.
Because it seems like they put just whatever in that stuff, and it's okay.
Right.
Because they say, well, it's not verified or it doesn't necessarily do this, but you're still putting God knows what into your system.
Yeah, true.
So what is the answer then? How do you?
I think it goes back to just diet and exercise. I mean, that you talked about how your dad was when you were younger. When my dad was at my age, he was in considerably better shape than I was, but he didn't work out per se, or he didn't call it working out. Him and my mom played tennis.
Sure.
They did outdoor things, volleyball, whatever. They weren't in the house. They maybe had one or two shows they watched, but it wasn't like, oh, I have to watch it. And they were outside.
They would rather be moving and doing stuff.
Right, playing tennis with friends. They were in tournaments and stuff. I mean, that's really what it is. I think if you're doing that, it supplements the office time. If you're moving and eating right and working out occasionally if you need to, then that's what you need to do.
Well, and I got the Total Gym sitting over there, and honestly, again, I bought it off the infomercial, but I did research it.
Right.
And they all said the same thing. It is an actual quality piece of equipment that will do what you need it to, but you got to use it. And it doesn't put the strain on the muscle, which again, my age, my doctor said, yeah, it's a lot better you do that than you go to the gym and try to, do a stack of weights. But her other thing was, just eat food. Mm-hmm. Don't eat processed crap. And she's like, have a, if you're going to eat in the morning, eat proteins, like McGee said. Eggs are fine.
Right.
Because it's a lot of protein, but the bigger breakfast, I find at night I'm not as hungry, and I've got more fuel to get through the day, and it's not just, I had a bagel for breakfast, and now at lunch I'm starving.
Right.
And then I'm slowing down because I'm more active at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
So there's that.
My doctor told me, I had a hippie doctor for a little bit. She was a nurse practitioner, actually, but she told me basically eat what appears in nature. Like, what do you mean? She's like, well, anything that's vegetables that are natural, meats that are natural, eat that stuff. Stay away from anything that's not natural. But I'm not saying go holistic and go, what do they call that crap where you charge more for it and it's
organic.
Organic, yeah. You don't have to go organic per se, but just eat what appears in nature. And I'm like, okay, so that means no bread, no candy, none of that stuff.
Well, I've heard them say, if you have to put things together to make food, like you have to create your food, it's not food.
Right.
But if it's something that is, like you said, occurs in nature, that is food.
Right.
I've always wondered, because there's, certain plants you eat, certain fruits you don't, like the holly berries that you're not supposed to eat or whatnot.
Yep.
Who was the first guy who ever tried that stuff? Because when man's nomadic, somebody's out there, and some guy's like, hey, berries. And he goes and tries the holly berries and just drops dead. And everybody's like, hey, the holly berries. No.
Yeah, don't eat those.
Drop dead. Pass it down.
Right.
There's always one guy who had to find out what you ate and what you didn't eat. Mm-hmm. It was like, was he chosen by the tribe? It was like in Shirley Jackson's The Lottery. It's like, we're going to pick one. It's like, hey, go eat it.
Right.
Go eat it. See what happens. You itching? What's happening? It's like, oh, he's fine. We can eat it.
Probably related to Andy Zimmer or whatever his name is.
Oh, Anthony Zimmerman?
Yeah, Anthony Zimmerman. There you go.
I don't know how. That is the least kosher Jew I know of. He will eat anything.
He'll eat the asshole out of a yak if it's prepared right.
I get it. It's like, okay, you eat what you got in other countries, but it's that whole
you wouldn't
idea
do it.
To me.
You can't do it. No way.
No, I can't. There's certain textures I can't stand. Like,
I'm a
I don't
texture
guy
too, right? Yeah, I'm that way too.
I don't like things that are gritty.
Right. So you don't like oysters.
Well, and not kosher, but B, also with the blood iron, I can't do.
Okay.
Can't do that.
If you didn't know, Philip has a blood iron issue.
Yeah, hemochromatosis. It's just
which makes him a superhero.
It does. I'm Iron Man.
Yeah.
It causes your body to retain iron, so you don't get rid of the iron like you normally would. So you store it to some people horrible levels, and it eats away at the organs. Mm-hmm. Causes arthritis.
Oh wow.
Just what they've deemed they give the term brain fog, where it screws with your thought processes, because it becomes toxic, and the only way to bring that down is through phlebotomies, which is basically, think of it as you're giving a pint of blood, but it goes in the trash.
Right.
and to bring those levels down. And it should be, the ferritin level should be about 20. And when I went in, I think mine was in the 380s. But, so not the worst, but there's people who will go in and it's in the 3000s.
Oh, damn.
So as soon as mine happened, it was like, okay, we've got to do MRIs on all your organs. We got to see what the damages are. And I'm fine.
That's good.
But I really have to watch. You know, there's no red meat diet now where it's just steak, 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 steak. Which,
can't do that.
Growing up in Texas,
yeah,
that's what it was.
So, is there like a home kit that comes with leeches or something? Or
No. Just go about every 8 weeks, see what the levels are at, and then they, take a pint and
send it to the vampires. And
yeah, they could. I've always wondered because the symptoms oddly are similar to that of anemia, which is low iron.
Right.
But I've jokingly thought, why can't you just give my blood to somebody with the same blood type who's anemic? But it doesn't.
Right.
Doesn't work that way. So my blood just right in the biohazard bin there.
Right.
So been doing that for a while.
Wow.
So I get no big needle too.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Fun.
But no sympathy because you have tattoos. It's like you can handle it. Like, yeah, but I don't know how well you're going to find that vein. And,
right.
That can hurt some, but
plus you don't get anything out of that. It just kind of.
No.
Well, you get your life
walk
saved,
away.
I guess.
Yeah, there's that. I feel better. And I can feel a difference. The worst part is the arthritis never really goes away. Mm-hmm. So in the joints, I tend to always have that, but I can tell when it's time to go in for a treatment because the joints get really stiff.
Right.
Especially in the hands. They're always kind of sore. But you know what? Out of all the stuff that I could have,
right,
this really is treatable, and where I go is an oncologist office. Mm-hmm. So I am always very mindful of do not complain. Because there are people there who it's like, man, you got to, you're fighting cancer.
Right.
I'm just getting blood taken. I mean, it sucks for me, but I am nowhere. I would never compare myself. Mm-hmm. So I have no right to complain in front of you.
Yeah.
So I'm always very mindful of that because there's people with a lot of other battles out there that are a lot bigger than mine.
Right.
So.
Well, but that's also why it's important if you're going to do any of these fad diets to talk to your doctor, because if you have a condition like that or if you're type 1 diabetic or whatever, it could totally affect that.
Because you could have high blood iron and you're just loading up on steak because you're like, I'm on the keto diet. Like, that's not going to help you.
Yeah, it's going to kill you.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So what about the Santa Clarita diet? Have you done that one?
Yeah.
How'd that work?
Waiting for the next season of that, yeah.
What is it, season 2?
Yeah, season 2. Good show.
It really is, and I'm not a big Drew Barrymore fan.
Yeah, I'm hit and miss on her.
That other guy who...
I like Timothy Olyphant. I like him.
I've never liked him.
I like him.
Something about his face I want to punch.
I liked him. First time I saw him was in Deadwood, and I really liked Deadwood, so that kind of...
I think, was he a Bond villain at some point?
No, he was a Die Hard villain.
Oh, that's right.
He was in the Cyber Die Hard one.
That's right. The one, I didn't like that one. Okay, maybe that's why I don't like him.
Maybe, yeah.
But he's not so, he's not so bad in
he does the humor well. I thought he handled the comedy pretty well in that. But.
Yeah, it's a dark show, but it's funny you can do dark material, but if it's well lit, it doesn't seem as depressing.
Right, right.
We're not putting the sepia tone on it, so it basically looks like Desperate Housewives.
Yeah,
the way it's shot. So
sure.
Check that out on Netflix, kids.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it yet, check it out. It's
Absolutely.
Good stuff. But so I think what the takeaway of this is, we don't necessarily love or hate fad diets. I think they have their place. They get people who maybe need that extra push to try something to help them out.
It gets them thinking about it.
Right.
And maybe that's the first step is just, hey, what do I do? Especially
something like keto where you can see the results on someone fairly quickly.
And I think that's one of it is you hate to be on a diet for a month and go, hey, I've lost 2 pounds. It's discouraging. So if you lose some quickly, but it's a lifestyle change.
It is.
It really has to be.
It has to be, yeah. And that's, when I was on Atkins, 85 pounds down, I went back to eating pizza. It all came back pretty quick, plus an extra 20 or whatever. So you got to be careful. It has to be a lifestyle. It can't be a diet per se. And if you stick with it, you'll see the rewards. But definitely, check with your doctors and make sure you're not doing something stupid to your body that you can't repair.
Richard Simmons liked to call him a livet.
A livet?
Because he doesn't like the word die, so it's a livet.
Ah.
And then you go sweat to the oldies.
There you go.
So
that's what you got to do.
Hey, if you got a VCR and an old Richard Simmons tape and some shorts, go for it.
Some Jane Fonda.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, she's probably in better shape than I am at this point.
Probably, yeah.
Just don't take my coffee and my cigars. That's pretty much, those are my two things. Okay, so quick question. I don't know if you love cigars as much, or coffee as much as I do. Mm-hmm. If you had to give up one of the two, which would it be?
Cigars.
Me too. I need the coffee.
I need the coffee more than I need the cigars. I do love a cigar, but it's not a necessity.
Yeah.
Coffee is a necessity at this point.
I'm the same way.
I will get a headache if I don't have coffee. If I haven't had my cup of coffee by noon, my head's like throbbing.
Oh yeah, coffee to me is the most. It's probably the healthiest long-term relationship I've ever been in. My relationship with coffee. I don't ever want to see that end.
Right.
So yeah, I would cut the cigars as well.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I live in a country where I don't have to, kids, and so do you.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, isn't it great? Well, you know what? We've wrapped up another episode here. Hopefully, you learned a little something.
Mm-hmm. And you got to meet our friend Brian McGee today.
That's right. I think. Well, they actually met him last.
Oh yeah, when we had the special issue.
Yeah, with Brad Fisher.
It's all right. This was our second time on the show. Yeah,
second time on the show. First time caller.
First call in.
Actually, our first call in ever. We'll work on the technology. Mm-hmm. For that, because that might be fun. I
have an option for that. So
nice.
Yeah.
If somebody wanted to contact us, not over the phone, but wanted to send us, correspondence, how would they do that?
You can go to the Twitter sphere and tweet us at Love to Hate Pod, or you can go to Facebook, like the Facebook page, and message us there with your ideas, comments, concerns, whatever. And don't forget to go to the iTunes page and give us a review there. We're still looking for reviews on that iTunes page. The more reviews we get there, the more visible we are for people, and they can find the show, and we'd love to have more people find the show.
Absolutely, because it keeps us doing this, and we like doing this. That's it for another week, kids. We'll talk to you later.